What a shame. Such wonderful curves wasted on an Autobot.
Transformers Galvatrons Revenge is by far one of the worst things to ever come out of the Transformers community ever. I mean, besides Megatron X Starscream, but still. Like, I mainly watched this movie out of pity because everybody was hating on it for its animation, saying, "Oh, the animation is so bad. Oh, I hate the animation." But you don't necessarily have to have good animation to make a good movie. So I gave Transformers Galvatrons Revenge a chance because I felt bad because everyone was hating on it. And that was probably one of my biggest mistakes because this movie is probably the most boring thing I've ever watched. For those who don't know, friggin' Galvatrons Revenge, aka the worst Transformers fan project ever, is a Transformers movie that was uploaded by the YouTube channel Prime Animations, and I think it's meant to be a sequel or a continuation of the already existing Transformers series, Transformers Prime. Now, I absolutely love Transformers Prime. Like, it's probably one of my favorite Transformers series besides Transformers Earthspark. So when I found out that this movie featured characters from Transformers Prime, like Arcee, freaking Bulkhead, I was excited because I was like, oh, I love these characters. I can't wait to see them again. But yeah, despite the fact that this movie featured freaking Bulkhead, Arcee, Smokescreen, really likable characters in Transformers Prime, this movie still sucked. Another reason for why this movie sucks Robo Cheeks is because of its controversies. Now, I'm not going to be talking about the controversies because this video is mainly meant to be a review of Galvatrons Revenge, not one of those freaking drama videos. But to sum it all up, most of the controversies involve the voice actor of Optimus Prime, the film's GoFundMe page, the alleged mistreatment of the animators working on Galvatrons Revenge, and just a bunch of other stuff. And I'm not saying any of this is true, but if you are interested in the drama and controversies of Galvatrons Revenge, I recommend these videos that I will also be linking in the description. And with that out of the way, let's review this dumpster fire. Our movie begins with a recreation of the Transformers Prime intro, which might be the only decently animated thing in this movie. We're then introduced to two Autobots, Rodimus and Springer, who are fighting a bunch of Combaticons because they need to fix a hyperdrive or something. But they fortunately escape the battle by flying away on a ship. And even though the movie has just begun, you've probably noticed something. The animation in this movie is terrible. There's little to no polishing, the characters' movements are very janky, and overall, this whole film looks like it was animated by a 2-year-old. And before you make the argument that the movie's animation is only bad because it's a fan film and it's not made by a studio, there are tons of Transformers fan projects that look way better than Galvatrons Revenge, that weren't created by big studios. Another thing that doesn't excuse this movie's horrible animation is the fact that this film took 10 years to make. How the actual hell do you spend 10 years animating a movie and then having it come out like this? But anyways, enough about the animation. We then cut to the two Autobot medics, Knockout and Ratchet, who are currently working in the Autobot base. Ultra Magnus and Smokescreen eventually show up, and the four of them just end up having a 4-hour yap session with each other. We're then introduced to our main antagonists, who don't look intimidating at all, despite being created by freaking Unicron. And we even get a poorly edited PowerPoint presentation introducing us to them. There's Slipstream, there's Galvatron, and there's the other two I forgot the names of. But yeah, they're the big bad guys apparently. We then cut back to Rodimus and Springer, who are fighting against the Combaticons again, and the ship ends up crashing down onto Earth. Agent Fowler then comes out of nowhere, and oh my god, he looks awful. And at first he wants to kill them or something, but he realizes that they're Autobots, and instead he takes them to the Autobot base. Rodimus and Springer are then introduced to Ultra Magnus, and Arcee, Wheeljack, and Bulkhead come out of nowhere, and Rodimus tries to hit on Arcee in the weirdest way imaginable.
Hey there! Can't remember the last time I've seen a Fempa.
I'm going to end my life. They then start scanning alt modes or something, and the Combaticons land on Earth and start attacking the humans. Oh no! We then get this really weird transforming animation, and we cut back to Ratchet and Ultra Magnus, who have located Dark Energon signals. This leads them to meet the Destructicons, and they end up having a really poorly animated fight scene. The Destructicons win the battle and end up yapping for 5 hours, and we cut back to Wheeljack and the other Autobots who are searching for human survivors after they were attacked by the Combaticons. We then get a clip of Ratchet crashing out because he can't bring Optimus Prime back to life. We then cut back to the Autobots who randomly get attacked by the Combaticons, which leads to Arcee being hit on again.
Such wonderful curves wasted on an Autobot.
Okay, I know we're only halfway through this movie, but I cannot stand the fact that every 2 seconds that Arcee is on screen, somebody has to hit on her. This movie sexualizes Arcee probably more than Rule 34 does, which really sucks because Arcee is a character that I really cared for back in the Transformers Prime series. So seeing her be turned into this character that only exists to be sexualized by the other people in the movie is just heartbreaking. And before you make the excuse that Rodimus hits on Arcee because they were meant to be lovers in some continuities, the Combaticons do this too. It just seems like to me personally that the people behind the movie had a thing for Arcee and decided to make that very clear to us in the movie, which really sucks because it kind of downgrades the likability of her character because all she does is get hit on and react to it in a negative way. But yet again, literally nobody in this movie is likable, so I doubt that changes much. But anyways, enough about the sexualization of fictional robot woman. We then cut back to Knockout and the others, who decide to help the other Autobots fight against the Combaticons. We then cut back to Ratchet, who's inside of Primus or something, and Knockout informs him that Unicron's spark has been stolen.
Unicron's spark has been stolen.
No! How is that possible?
A group of anti-primes said they were created by Unicron to stop the 13 primes.
Such incredible dialogue between characters. Thank you, Galvatrons Revenge. Ratchet then finds Primus and starts venting to him for 5 hours. And then Bruticus ends up forming and attacks the Autobots. Oh no! We then get this really gay scene between Rodimus and Smokescreen.
Rodimus, you're here on Earth? Well, if it isn't the rookie. Hey, my rookie days are over. You didn't forget everything I taught you, did you, Smokey?
Smokey? Are you kidding me? Smokey? I know what you are. So Smokescreen and Rodimus, who are totally not gay for each other by the way, decide to help fight Bruticus. Meanwhile, the Destructicons approach Earth to awaken their Lord and Savior Unicron. We then cut back to the Autobots and guess what happens to Arcee?
We work as a team and as a single cohesive unit. Got that?
You know, your optics spark when you're mad.
Anyways, Galvatron and his poorly designed gang end up pulling up to the Autobot vs. Combaticon Battle Royale. And Galvatron's all like,
Hear this, descendants of Primus.
Jax vs. Skibbity Toilet Epic Edging Battle!
Anyways, they start fighting, I guess, and we cut back to... Wait, what? Okay, so we're just casually undoing arguably one of the most emotional scenes in Transformers Prime. Okay, that's... yeah. Alright. So Optimus Prime is resurrected by Primus and helps the Autobots fight the Destructicons. And then Megatron comes out, like he literally comes out of nowhere. And he doesn't sound like the original Megatron from Transformers Prime either. So Megatron ends up teaming up with Optimus Prime and the Autobots, and the Destructicons are eventually defeated. Optimus Prime then offers Megatron to join them, but Megatron's like, no, your voice actors are racist. So he takes the Combaticons and flips off, I guess. And the movie ends with Optimus giving an emotional speech. Wait, what do you mean to be continued? Yeah, so, that was Galvatrons Revenge. Probably one of the worst Transformers fan projects that I've ever seen. My final thoughts on the movie are that the movie is extremely bad, the animation is terrible, the fact that this movie took 10 years to make absolutely blows my mind, and that the movie was just extremely boring. When I first watched this movie, it felt like I was watching it for like 2 years due to how slow everything was. Like, the fight scenes felt like they went on for like decades due to how boring they were. And the only decent thing about this movie, in my opinion, is its voice acting. I mean, besides Orbital Bacon, you can kind of tell that the voice actors in this movie are trying their best. They're not god tier level of voice actors, but they're trying, and you can tell that. I also thought that the Destructicons were wasted potential. Like, you had these Transformers who were made by Unicron himself, and you managed to make them the most boring villains I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, how do you mess up that badly? I also thought the characters, including, like, my favorite characters in Transformers, like Bumblebee, were just extremely unlikable and boring, especially Rodimus. Like, I could not stand this guy friggin' flirting with Arcee every 2 seconds. Like, just admit that you're gay, bro. The models for the movie also looked really uncanny, and the way the characters moved was, it was very odd. They kind of moved like robotic rag dolls almost. But yeah, that was my review of Galvatrons Revenge. If I were to rate this movie out of 10, I would probably give it a 1, because I don't know how to rate something lower than a 1 because I'm stupid. And the only group of people that I would ever recommend this movie to is either people who I hate with a burning passion, or people who just like really bad films. Yeah, this movie was absolute dog crap. Yeah, so we've reached the end of today's video, but before you go, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Like, even if you didn't like the video, just the fact that you clicked on this video means a lot to me, so thank you. Anyways, Kanye West.
The thing about the red hat that drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor, and what hospital, and what media went to. We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor.